How's that? I never muted myself before. I do it all the time. I'm just kidding. How's everybody doing today? Looks like we've got some friends in the chat. We've got Samantha and Charlene and Maribel. Who else is here? Roberta. Hi, Roberta. It's good to see you. And Patty Barker's here. She's working on a cheetah amigurumi for her great niece's Christmas present. That sounds cool. I'd love to see that. And Judy's here. Hi, Judy. Good to see you too. Let's see what else. I see that some people are working on some slippers. Roberta says that she's designing a pair of slippers, making 3 pairs for a Christmas present for a family member. 3 pairs. That's a lucky family member. Samantha would like me to put a link to the website in the chat. Yes, I can do that right now. Let me see if I can multitask. www.whippychick.com. There you go, Samantha. Let's see who else is here. Charlene says, Merry Christmas. Can you believe it? It is almost Christmas, like less than a week away. And I still haven't gotten my husband anything. Oh man, I'm down to the wire here and I just don't know what to get him. It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be close. We'll see. So it's good to see you, Maribel, and Joe's here. How are you, Joe? And Carol and Deneen. How are you guys? Deneen, it must be getting pretty chilly up there. Wanda's here. Hey, Wanda. And Quilty Crocheter. I thought it said guilty at first. I was like, don't feel guilty about crocheting. I'm doing great, Quilty. How are you? Ivy B is here. Hi, Ivy B. And let's see, did I get everybody? LJ's here. Hey, LJ, good to see you. Hey, Yarn Geek, my friend Ginger's in the house. Good to see her. LJ says, I got my hubby's Skull Crusher coffee. He will be grateful. I'll make him. Ooh, Skull Crusher. That sounds dangerous. My husband drinks iced coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, so I don't know. Maybe I'll just get him a gift card, but that seems pretty lame. Maybe I'll get him a gift card with something else. I just don't know what that something else is yet. I have to work on it. I'm running out of time. Yes, Maribel, I have 3 days. I know. That's not a lot of time. Because, I have to work those days too. So it's going to be after work. I'm going to have to do something after work, or I'm going to have to go out on Christmas Eve. I'm not sure. Oh, Jamie's in the house and she says, it's the shortest day of the year today. I'm already in the dark. I'm already in the dark too, Jamie, for sure. For like the last hour or so. Oh, but where Jamie is, gosh, Jamie, what time is it there? Like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon? Yeah, that's really dark. Let's see who else is here. Joy's here. Hey, Joy, good to see you. LJ says, it's late, but I'm determined to get these last few blanket rounds done. Yep, that's the longest part, getting around the border of the blanket. Okay, so it's 5 p.m. where you are. So yeah, not too much later. I was thinking it was a lot later than here. So because it is the first official day of winter, I specifically picked this particular question from the chat pack. So the question of the day, that's my drum roll, is your favorite thing to do after a big snowfall. Now, I know most of you are crocheters, probably all of you are crocheters, so I can just guess what your favorite thing to do is after a big snowfall. I know what mine is. Oh, Ginger, not Ginger, I'm sorry. Jamie says they have a lot of the white stuff too. We don't have any. We have no snow. It is not going to be a white Christmas here in upstate New York. No snow. Oh, and Deneen says it's only -9 degrees Celsius, which is, if you want the scientific term for -9 degrees Celsius, the scientific term is farting freezing. That's what I would call it. It is farting freezing. So let's see what everybody would like to do after the big snowfall. Let's see. Joe says if my husband is technical to get him an Apple Watch. Maybe. Let's see. Samantha would drink hot chocolate. I like to do that after shoveling too. Quilty Crocheter would jump in and make some snow angels. That sounds like fun. Hey Bev, good to see you. Ashley, no, you are not super late. We just got started. And the question is, because it is the first day of winter, what's your favorite thing to do after a big snowfall? Some of you might not have ever had a big snowfall. Some of you might be from the South. Joyce says, when I was a kid making snow angels, but now just watching it glisten from inside my house. Me too. Love that. Love that. I don't like driving in snow, but I like to look at it from the window, knowing that I don't have to go anywhere and I can just sit and crochet and listen to some music or a book. That's the best. That is my favorite. Samantha, honey, I'm sorry you couldn't open the website. I'll have to look into that. Okay, so Sydney says, play in the snow with my dogs. Oh, that sounds lovely. That sounds wonderful. My dog loved the snow. He loved to leap through it. Judy says, I've totally forgotten. It's been at least 40 years since I've seen snow. Wow. Wow. Well, Judy, if you remember it as being very cold and very wet, your memory would be correct. LJ, same thing. Last time we had proper snow, I got tipsy and drew snow anatomy on all the cars on the street. Oh my goodness, LJ. Joe Fagan likes to go walking in the snow. Bev likes to sit in front of a blazing fire. These are all awesome. Jamie says, Julie, that's a beautiful shawl or wrap that you're wearing. Can you please give us a closer look? And brap is the noise my snowmobile makes. Ow, I wondered what you were talking about, Jamie, because I really didn't know. As far as my shawl goes, yep, this is just kind of a Julie original. Nothing too exciting. The yarn does most of the work. And I'll stand up so you can see the back. Doo-doo-doo. Can you see the back? Just got a little tassel in the back, but it's really just a simple corner to corner. I should probably write up a pattern for it because a lot of people really like this one, and it is toasty warm, which is good because it's starting to finally get cold here. Carol says, everyone knows what happened in Texas when it snowed in February. It was the first and most snow I've seen. Wow. Yeah, I've seen lots of snow in my 50 years of living up here in the Northeast. But last year, I have to say, was probably the most snow I've ever seen. I want to say we had over 40 inches. I can't remember the exact number, though. Ashley says she would gape in amazement because she lives in California, and that's only ever happened once, and it wasn't anywhere near cold enough to stick. Oh, wow. Hey, Lisa, what's your favorite thing to do after a big snowfall? That is the opening question because today is the first day of winter. So, bon hiver, everybody. Happy winter. Karen Sinisi says, letting my dogs go out to romp in the snow. Corgis love the snow. I didn't know that. Those short little legs, I can just picture them. Charlene says, younger days we played in the snow. Bring to present Phoenix. It doesn't snow. Oh, you're in Phoenix presently. Yeah. Samantha, is there a way you can send? Samantha, honey, we're going to have to talk about it afterwards, okay? Deneen says, I'm looking out the window at the snow. I bet you are. Thank you, Bev. Thanks. Where Lisa lives, they don't get snow. Jamie says it's absolutely gorgeous. The color, it has my absolutely favorite shade of copper in it and actually reminds me of copper that is oxidized. I Actually, I'm pointing the wrong way. Right here. Yeah, there is a lot of that copper in it. I do love this. I would tell you what kind of yarn it is, but I got it at a local yarn store, so I just refer to it as shishi poo poo yarn because it's not yarn that I buy very often. I broke down and bought a skein because it was so pretty. If I go back and look at the video that I made of that store, I would probably be able to find out what kind of yarn it is. So I'll look into it, and if I remember, I'll put it up in the Facebook so you guys can know what kind of yarn it is. But I do love all those colors in it. That light blue just pops so nicely. I like it too. And I actually got complimented on it today by a guy at work. He's like, "I love your wrap." I was like, "Wow, thank you." It's so funny. Hey Kim, it's good to see you. Bougie yarn. Yes, it's very bougie. Bougie yarn. I call it shishi poo poo. Nancy's here. Hi, Nancy. All right, you guys. So that was good. That was lots of fun answers to that question, and definitely an appropriate question for the first day of winter. And I told all of my plants today, don't worry, guys. The days are going to start getting longer now. We're going to have some more sunshine. And I can't wait. Carol's playing Yarn Chicken. Carol, what are you working on? What are you working on that you're playing Yarn Chicken with? I'd love to hear about it. And let's see, LJ says, oh, LJ, I lost you. Where'd you go? There it is. Looks similar to my Hayfield Breeze Shade Embers. Currently crocheting with that yarn. Very nice. That name doesn't sound familiar. I don't remember the name of the yarn. It was like a year and a half ago that I bought it. Yeah, happy winter solstice. Woohoo! That's what I was saying earlier. Bon hiver. Bon hiver. Happy winter. So for those of you who are working on slippers, I'm kind of working on some myself. They're really like slipper socks. They're too big to be socks. And they're pretty big anyway, but the person that I'm making them for has kind of wide feet. So I wanted to make them nice and wide. So there's some more of that copper color that Jamie likes so much. But they are definitely wide, and I haven't done the heel yet. But that's the last step. Just about done with these ones. And they're so warm. I wish my feet were wider. I would wear them myself, but they're too big for me. So a lucky person in my life is going to get a pair of those. Thank you, Lisa. I don't normally crochet socks, so yeah, giving it a try. This is only my first pair. I crocheted one actual sock before. It was a couple weeks ago when we talked about crocheted socks on yarn hookers, and I crocheted one, and I didn't have any more of the yarn, so I didn't finish it. I didn't finish the second one. Oh, thank you, Ginge. I like them too. I like that colors. It was a very nice gift from a good friend, that yarn, and I'm currently using it up, using it right up. The yarn, I should tell you what kind of yarn it is. The yarn is almost all gone, enough for the heel. Is Premier Everyday. That's the name of the yarn. And the color is Hiding. The color name is Hiding. I will find out. Northern Lights. Northern Lights. The Aurora Borealis, if you will. Okay, so yeah, so Kim is currently working on the dishes, then finishing up Skylar's holiday cards for school. And, oh, for teachers and schoolmates. Very nice. Yes, Jamie, that is a self-striping yarn, and it is working out beautifully. I really like it a lot. I might have to buy more of that. Brad Michelle says, hi, Whippy Chick in chat. My kitty keeps trying to get her Christmas present out of her stocking. Ooh, what's in there? Does it have catnip? That could explain it. Joe says, using StreamYard, I can't see other people's comments. Oh, Are you on StreamYard or Facebook right now? Well, you can't be on StreamYard. It must be through Facebook. Oh, I didn't know that you couldn't see other people's comments. You could go on over to the YouTube, view it on YouTube, and then you'd be able to see the comments maybe. So Lisa says at Ginger, I love the walk through town video. And Samantha, that's very sweet. Thank you, honey. Jamie says the Northern Lights. Have you ever seen them? They were out yesterday around 11 p.m. We are just a little bit too far south to see them here. I know that when I was a kid, my dad said that he saw them and he was blown away. It was kind of rare, though, to see them here. Hey, VJ, how are you doing? All right, Janine is working on a corner-to-corner baby blanket using Ice Cream Big Scoop. My good friend Melanie was using a lot of that Ice Cream Big Scoop recently. It was really pretty colors. I liked it a lot. All right, let me open up my slideshow here. And we'll see what we've got going on today. So we're going to talk about some fast and easy Christmas projects. And naturally, there's the slide for question of the week, which I forgot to put up when I pulled up the question of the week. All right. So some quick projects. I just wanted to show some quick projects that looked like really easy and really fun. So this is a cute little beer cozy can cozy, not a beer cozy, a can cozy. What's in your can is your business, not mine. So I thought this was really cute. This is a pattern from Joe to the World, which I thought was a fun name, Joe to the World instead of Joy to the World. Very cute. People are asking questions about Deneen. Is it a 3 or a 4 weight yarn in the ice cream? Samantha Hun, we'll have to talk later about the technical stuff. I don't want people to get bored with that stuff. Congratulations, Kim. Big milestone. And Ginger's probably going to hit it on Thursday. Good for you guys. It's a lot of work getting that far. Okay, Cuppy is keeping the live going while I work. Happy to keep you company, Cuppy. I like your name, Cuppy's Crochet. That's cute. Okay, so our next project, I love this one. I think this is so cute and it is so easy. You guys would not believe how easy this little candy cane is to make. It's by Yarnspirations. Super, super easy. You would be so surprised. If you've never made like a, gosh, what do they call it? Just like a swirl. I don't know what to call it. But you basically make 2 of them and you kind of wind them together. It's really, really cute and really easy. So give it a try if you've never tried it. This is Yarnspirations. All of these slides are going to be up on my website probably by tonight, late tonight or early tomorrow. And you can click right on these links or these pictures and it'll link you right to where you wanna go. So this one by Stitching Together is just basic simple stars. Thank you, Kim. Curlicues. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. But yeah, these simple stars are really cute too. You could use them to make little motifs, or you could use them for ornaments, or you could use them for little garlands. Really, really cute and really easy to make too. So these are all really quick and easy Christmas projects. I like them. I think they're cute and easy. So, but I think those are the only 3 I brought up. Who's ready to get started? Who's ready to grab their hook and grab their yarn and try making a basic circle? Because we are going to make today, if you choose to do the project, just a basic little coaster. And I made it in Christmassy colors, little red and white. And yeah, very basic. But when you learn how to work in the round, some of you probably already know how to work in the round. Some of you are new to crochet and never worked in the round. But once you know how to work in the round, it opens up like a whole world of projects for you. There's so many things you can do, and one of them is hats. And making hats is so much fun. And so I want to teach you guys how to make a basic circle. So I hope you join me, and I'm going to go nice and slow. And grab your yarn and your hook if you want to. And if you don't want to, that's fine. You can just watch, but I'm going to. So let me pull up my slide for our first instruction. And it's so small I can't see it. Okay, so we are going to work 10 single crochets into MR. Oh, before I forget, another thing that I'm going to do with this lesson is I'm going to have the pattern up on the screen, and then I'm going to have the translation. Jamie says, Miss Julie, question. I was on the website after class and didn't find my homework. I got my hook and yarn. Wait, is this going to be that horrific magic circle thing? Yes, it is. And it is not horrific at all, Jamie. You're going to be shocked at how easy it is. Okay. So anyway, yeah, so the pattern is going to be up on the screen as well as the translation, because I do want to encourage people to learn how to read patterns too. I know a lot of people were really wanting to. So, all right, let's get into it. The magic ring. It's not as hard as you think, okay? Just make your basic slip stitch just like you start every project and chain up 2. Just make 2 chains because this is a single crochet project. Okay, so you've got your 2 chains on your hook. I don't know, can you see it? Y'all know what 2 chains look like. If you didn't know what 2 chains look like, you wouldn't be here. Okay, so all you're gonna do is you're gonna insert your hook into the first chain. That's your magic ring. That's it. That first chain is the magic ring. You don't have to do anything else. Just put your hook into the first chain and start working your single crochets. So we're going to do 10 single crochets into that first chain. And that is going to stretch out, and that's okay. We want it to. Okay, so there's 1. There's 2. And 3. And 4. How boring is that going to sound after a while? And 5. And 6. See how it's getting bigger? My circle's getting bigger, my first chain. That's okay. We can tighten it back up again. How many did I make, guys? Is that 5? I gotta count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was 6. Okay. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Oops. Oops, oops, oops. Get in there. Stop being fiddly with me. Okay, so once you get your 10 single crochets into that first chain, you're just going to pull your tail and tighten it up, and that's it. Magic ring. Done. Done, done. Easy, right? Why do they make it so hard? It doesn't have to be hard. It's easy. So how's everybody doing? Y'all with me? VJ, oh, great, Julie, that's how I do mine. I thought you were going to do the dreaded loop-de-loop thing. Yeah, I tried. It took me like 2 years to figure out that loop-de-loop thing that everybody tries to teach you. And then I was like, why? Why do we learn that the hard way? There's no reason. Yeah, Samantha, just work right into that first chain, and that becomes your magic ring. Okay? Whippy Chick Crochet, the heart on the shirt in that image is a pansexual pride colors, just so you know. I know. LOL, a note from your friendly neighborhood pansexual. I know. I already knew that it was, and I'm cool with that. I hope everybody else is cool with that. And if they're not cool with that, then that's their issue, and I choose not to make their issue my issue. Okay, so I hope everybody's with me. Lisa, I am using a really big hook here. I'm using a size K, and Ginger will have to tell me what size is a size K. I think it's like a 7 or something crazy like that. But I wanted to use a really big hook so that you guys could see a little bit easier. Okay, so that's step 1. Let's go back to our directions here. Step 1. Yep, so we just worked our 10 single crochets into the magic ring. Okay, here is a tip. Place a stitch marker on the loop that's on your hook. You know, they always say to put your stitch marker in your first stitch. They always say that. Put your stitch marker in the first stitch. Well, that's kind of hard. I mean, it's not super hard, but you've already made this stitch, and now they want you to stop and put in a stitch marker and then go back to work again. What I do is here, it's so hard to show you on the camera. I just put it right on the hook. I put my stitch marker right on there because this little loop that's on your hook, that is your first stitch. That's going to be the top of your first stitch. So it's already on there. I don't have to stop and put on my stitch marker. It's just there. Okay, so 6.5 millimeter, Ginge. Thank you. Okay, so now that we have got our stitch marker, whoops, why did I do that? Now that we've got our stitch marker where we need it, I can't read it because it's so small. Yeah, this loop is going to be our first stitch. It's much easier to place it on the hook rather than waiting till after you've made the stitch. That's my opinion. You do whatever you want, whatever works for you, but that's what works for me. Okay, so our next round, whoops, a daisy. We're going to work 2 stitches into the next stitch and every other stitch in the round. Okay, but if you are like me, when I was first learning, I was like, well, where's the first stitch? It's so hard for me to find the first stitch, and my numbers would always get off. So here is another tip. Count backwards from the stitch you just did. Okay, we know we put 10 in there. So if you just count back 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it's easy to find it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's easy to lose it too. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's my first stitch. So if you struggle with that, like I used to, just count backwards. Okay, so Lisa Knits says, I ask because we have our hooks in numbers and not letters. Yeah, I usually do millimeters. That's how I usually name my hooks, which is why I can never remember what the letter is. And Ginger always knows. But this one used to be one of my grandma's hooks, and I just like it, and I wanted a big hook. So yeah, that's the one I grabbed. Okay, so now I'm off to do 2 single crochets in every stitch. So that means we're going to end up with 20 stitches at the end of this round. So there's 1, and there's 2. And then the next stitch, 1 and 2. And then just keep working that way all the way around. The next stitch, 1 and 2. And just keep going. The next stitch has 1, 2. The next one has 1, 2. And if you've ever done amigurumi, this is all very old hat for you. The next one is 1, 2. And I don't know if you noticed, but I didn't chain up or anything because I'm just doing a continuous circle. I'm not going to be joining or anything like that. So just keep working all the way around until you get to your stitch marker. 2 stitches in each stitch. So at the end, we're going to have 20 of these little guys. Whoops. And then as soon as you get all the way around to the beginning, I'm going to tell you a story to make life easy. Okay. So I've got my 20 stitches. I've worked all the way around. If I just pull that tail again, it's just going to tighten up that circle. Okay? So let me just look through the chat, make sure I don't have anybody with questions. Okay, it looks like everybody's kind of on board here. LJ says, yeah, my 6 millimeter is a J. I've never paid attention to the letter before. The only one I ever know is H. I know that H is 5. That's the only one I can ever remember. And I don't even know why I remember it, but I do. Okay, let's see. Samantha says, I want to make a stocking after my blanket, and it tells me to work in the round. Perfect, Samantha. This is a perfect lesson for you then, because once you can work in the round, you can do so many different projects. Yeah, so let's keep going. Let me check what's on our slide next. Okay, so we've worked our single crochet. If you're still working it, just keep going because I'm going to tell you a little story. Have you heard about the new guy on the job? This is my story. I've heard different stories of how to keep your numbers straight when you're expanding in a circle. So for me, the way I remember my increases is I always think about a new guy on the job. So every stitch that we add is the new guy on the job. And the new guy on the job always hangs out with the last guy that was hired on the job. Okay, so the next round that we're going to be doing, we're going to be adding a stitch. So we're just going to work one stitch into the first stitch, and then the next one, we're going to work two. Okay, so we're going to have the old guy and the new guy together. It'll make sense. Hang on one second. First thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to take off my stitch marker and I'm going to put it on the loop on my hook. See? So it's moved up. That way I know where I am. When I get to the end of my round, I'll know. Okay, so I'm going to insert my hook and do one single crochet. So there's one. Now I'm going to increase, and I'm increasing my third round. This is the third round. I'm going to insert my hook and do one. And now I'm going to add my new guy. I'm going to do 2 stitches in there. So I have 2 and 3. They go together. Okay? Let's go to the next stitch. So I'm going to do 1 in the next stitch and then 2 in the next. So I've got 2 and 3 because 3 is the new guy. So he's hanging out with 2. Does that make sense? I don't know. It makes sense in my head, but when I hear myself say it, it stops making sense. Okay, let's go to the next stitch. We're going to do 1, and then the following stitch, 2, and 3 stays with number 2. If I can work my stitches here, I've got a little gnat flying around. He's kind of bugging me. Okay, let's go to the next one. So we do 1 in one stitch, and then 2 and 3 in the next. 2 and 3, because number 3 is the new guy. He's got to stay with number 2. He's got to learn his job. Okay, so we're just going to keep working in that pattern all the way around. 1 in the first stitch, and 2 and 3 in the next. 2 and number 3. 1, 2, and 3 in the same stitch. My brain picks up patterns and sequences really well. I'm just rubbish at tight stitches and amigurumi. Well, LJ, I can understand that. Really, though, there's so much math in crochet that after a while, I just started to understand math better after crocheting. So because we are working with, we started with 10 single crochets, every time we increase, we're just going up by 10 stitches. So after the first round, we had 20. And after this round, we're going to have 30. So you're just constantly adding 10 stitches evenly around. Okay, I am almost there. I'm doing my last 2 stitches in the last stitch here. So I'm all the way around. I've got my 30 stitches. Ashley says, I've heard this explanation before, and it's my favorite method for learning and teaching a flat circle. You're doing beautifully, and you make sense. Thank you. I'm so glad it is making sense. Yeah, Lisa, we're doing all single crochet tonight. Obviously, you can do whatever you want, you know. But yeah, just to keep things simple, I'm just doing all single crochets to make my little coaster. Okay, so I am all the way around on my third round. So, yep, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, 2 single crochets in the next, and you're just going to repeat those to the end of the round. And if you're new to reading patterns, you see this little asterisks on the front and back of that statement that you're going to repeat what's in those asterisks to the end of the round. So if that helps you to learn how to read patterns, you know. Hey, Deb, how are you? It's good to see you. And let's see, we've got 2 Debs here. We've got Deb's Crochet, and we've got Debbie Perea, doing well, VJ, enjoying the cooler weather and all the yarny channels. I like that. I just wish there were more hours in the day. That's what I said to my husband the other day. All I want for Christmas is more hours in the day. Is that so much to ask? All right, so we are all the way around, or at least I am. I'm going to take off my stitch marker now, and I'm going to add that to the one that's on my hook, add it to the loop on my hook, and then I'm just going to keep working around. So there's no seam, you know, there's no continuous like where you join. It's just, you're just continually working around and around and around. Asterisks, just like in knitting. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, just like in knitting. LJ says, crochet to me is very logical. I think I see that side of it more than the creative side of it. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Okay, so we're going to work on now round 4. So round 4 says work 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, 2 single crochets in the next. So we've got 1, and then 2, and then 3 and 4 go together. Okay, and we're going to do that all the way around. So that's the newest pattern. Okay, so I'm just going to get started here. 1 and 2. Ooh, if I can get it in there. And so the next one, we're going to put 2 stitches in it. So 3 and 4, because we're on the 4th round. The 4th guy is the new guy, so he stays with 3. So 3 and 4 go together. And then we just start that pattern all over again. 1 stitch, 1 in the next stitch, and then 3 and 4 stay together. So those 2 go together in the next stitch. 3 and 4. And then 1 in the next stitch, 1 in the next stitch, and then the next 2 go together because they're numbers 3 and 4. I always picture these stitches as having like little numbers on their backs, like little factory workers or soccer players or something. So here's number 1, here's number 2, and here's number 3, and number 4 going together in that same stitch. And just keep working that way all the way around. Hi, Lori, how are you? Good to see you tonight. Been cooking dinner? Have to watch the replay later. Awesome. Hanging while I eat. Before, have to go let my neighbor's dogs out. Oh, I watch my neighbor's dogs when they go away too. Both neighbors, actually. The one neighbor usually takes her dogs with her, but my son lets her cat out. All right, how are you guys doing? Are y'all doing okay? Is any of this making sense? Think of all of the glasses that you can put on your coaster when it's done. Coasters and dishcloths are always really good to learn new techniques on, I think, because they're small. All right, is anybody at the end yet? I'm almost to the end of this round. 3 and 4. And if your numbers are right, you're always going to end at the end of your sequence. So like your last stitch should have 2 in it. It should have number 3 and number 4 in it. Oops. Okay, so I made it all the way around. Lori said she made chicken fried rice. Not sure how to make a small batch. Well, there's always leftovers. That's good. No problem there. Oh, Debbie says, bye, LJ. All right. Everybody's saying hi to each other in the chat. That makes me so happy to see everybody seeing each other. LJ says, makes sense, Ashley. I'm not much for the amigurumi, but I like to admire everyone else's. Yeah, I like doing amigurumi, but when you get to the end and you have to close it up, I have the hardest time getting my stitches to not get really stretched out where you can see like the stuffing. So that always kind of frustrates me with amigurumi, but otherwise I like doing it. Lori says she's going to be eating this meal into the new year. Well, that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. All right, let's see how we're doing here. So that was round 4. Um, basically, you can make this as big as you want. I know that in mine, my pick, the one that I made earlier, I think I did like 6 rounds. You're always going to keep that same pattern as you increase. So in round 5, you're going to increase just the same as you did, but you're going to go, 1, 2, 3 stitches, and then 4 and 5 are going to go together. Does that make sense? And so in round 6, you would do a single and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 5 and 6 go together. You're always going to end on the number round that you are in. So if you want to keep going, you certainly can. Nancy, if your marker falls out, is there an easy way to tell which stitch is the first stitch? I wish there was, because it's happened to me and it is such a bummer when it happens. So that is one reason why I use the stitch markers that close nice and tight. Except this one, apparently. There it goes. See how it closes nice and tight? But I will show you one that gives me trouble. Yeah, I was making some socks using, or no, it wasn't socks, it was a hat, using one of these kind of stitch markers. And you see it doesn't have a close, like it just slips on and off, and it's pretty tight. And it's fine if you're using it with like a bulky weight yarn, but if you're just using it with a 4 weight, it can slide right off, and that is a bummer. So yeah, I would just suggest using a stitch marker that's going to stay on there nice and tight. Even a safety pin would work, or a paper clip would work. You don't have to have one from the craft store, though I will say they are really inexpensive. Really inexpensive. Lisa says, I use the pins from putting a nappy on a baby as a stitch marker. Absolutely. That absolutely works. Yes, and those little ones, they slip. So I prefer the ones that close nice and tight. You can also get like stitch markers that are like pretty stitch markers. And I don't mean the ones that people hand make. I mean these, they're like hard plastic. I think I've got some of those too. Yeah, I do. So like this one, oh, that's maybe a bad example because it's such a light color. This one's like a hard plastic, and after you've squeezed it a few times, it snaps and breaks. So you want the ones that are kind of rubbery, in my opinion. I'm full of opinions. Thank you, Samantha. You're sweet to say so. Okay, so when you do get to your last round, you can fasten off and weave in your ends. Oh, looks like I have a translation incorrect on here. I was going to show you how to change colors. Does anyone want to know how to change colors? I can show you how to change colors if you want to do that. Let's do that. We'll do that. I'll show you how to change colors real quick. Okay. When you get to your last stitch before you change colors, I find it's best to keep your 2 strands or 2 loops on your hook like that, and that's when you're going to change your color. I've got my big old honkin' red yarn here. So I keep my 2 strands on there, or my 2 loops on there, and that's when I add my second yarn. I just plop it on there and pull that through, and then just keep working with red. And after you get a couple stitches in, you can go ahead and cut your yarn. So I'm going to move my stitch marker. Oops, there it is. Make sure you close it so it doesn't fall off. And yeah, then just keep working your way around just like you were before. So this would be what, round 5? So I would be working 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. My stitch marker is actually kind of getting in my way. Get out of the way. There we go. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to work 4 and 5 in the next stitch. There we go. So now I've changed my colors, and I'm going to go ahead and cut my white yarn free with cute scissors. I always say cute scissors work the best. Just kidding. I have lots of not cute scissors too. All right. So now, yeah, just continue working like you were before. 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5 go together because this is the 5th round. So 5's the new guy, 4 and 5 go together. And keep going. 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5 go together. And you just keep going until you've got it as big as you want. Once you get the hang of it, it's really pretty simple. And I was thinking about this a little while ago that I'm going to put in the on the website in the freebies page all the formulas for different flat circles, because you don't always have to start with 10. You know, a lot of times when you're making a hat, you might start with 8 or even 6 and increase from there. So it's kind of nice to have a little cheat sheet. 4 and 5. Sometimes I lose track and I have to rip it all out. That's the best thing about crochet, though, is it's so easy just to rip it out and get back to where you know what you're doing and keep moving forward after that. It's much harder with knitting and you've got all those stitches on your needles and trying to keep them all straight. At least it is for me. A knitter would disagree. Let's see, Lori, I love the idea that the new guy gets a buddy right away. Yes, it makes it so much easier for me to remember. I just think of the new worker at the new job or the new kid at school. Remember when you had a new kid at school and the teacher would always put the new kid with a kid who'd been there a while? It's kind of like that. Kind of that same thought. So you guys, I want to tell you something kind of funny. Last Thursday, I was getting ready for tonight's live, and I actually made a few coasters with cotton yarn. And they were really nice. They came out really well. I really liked them. And tonight, as I was getting ready for the live, I looked everywhere and I could not find them. They were just gone. I cannot find them anywhere. And I don't even know what to do. I'll find them later when I don't need them anymore. Let's see. Charlene says, does this work for double crochet? It works for any size stitch you want to use. Yeah, you could certainly do this in a double crochet. For hats, when I'm making a hat, I almost always use a half double crochet. So yeah, any size stitch, it works. I think. I mean, I haven't tried it with anything larger than a treble crochet, I don't think. But I would think it would work for any stitch. Okay, so now here's the crazy part. I'm just going to move this slide away so that you can see better. So now let's pretend this is the end of my project and this is what you get. I'm going to take out my stitch marker. Okay. And you notice that it's taller on one side than the other. Actually, I'm showing you the back. Let me show you the front. See this like jagged part here? It's like much taller. So how do we get rid of that, right? Well, I'm going to show you. First, give yourself a nice tail. And then grab your needle and thread your tail. Because there's a way to get rid of this, or make it a lot less anyway. So once you have your tail all threaded and you've got your loop still, you're going to run your needle right through that loop and make it like in a knot. Okay, yes, I know it's still sticking up quite a ways, but from there, you're going to, with your needle, go into the next stitch, just the back loop, and pull it through, and then come back into the front loop and pull that through, and it kind of looks like a stitch, and then you just pull it tight, snug it down, and you've pretty much lost that bump. From there, you're just gonna weave in your ends. So that's how I make a flat circle without having the chain ups and the seam line that runs through. That seam line just bugs me. It just bugs me, especially on hats. I don't like the seam. So I do the continuous circle like you would an amigurumi. And then I don't get that seam. Okay. And that's it. That's how you make a flat circle. Charlene, what about the amount at the beginning circle? Is there a set amount? It depends on the pattern. I was just using a 10 because multiples of 10 are so easy, but you could use any multiple. Like I said, I know that I made a hat pattern last week. This is a new hat pattern that I just made, and it starts with a flat circle on the top, and I started with 8. I think it was 8. So you can start with different numbers. I've seen it with 6. I've seen it with 4. It just depends on the pattern. So I used 10 tonight, like I said, because it was a simple multiple, and my coaster is very holy because I used such a big hook. If I used a smaller hook, it would be much tighter. It was, and the ones that I can't find. But yeah, so hopefully that answers any questions. At Deneen, in your 25 plus years of diaper changing, have you ever used metal pins? I used cloth Fiat before there was Velcro. I have one of my husband's pins from when he was a baby. My mother-in-law saved one of his diaper pins, so I still have it. It's so cute. It's got a little duck on it. But I'm sure that when I was a baby, it was cloth diapers, I'm sure. But I used disposable for my son. I know, bad, right? Bad for the environment. But Lori, that's funny. Did you look under your husband's cup? I did. I did not look under his cup. I know that he uses a different. He has a different coaster that he uses. It's like a tile, and yes, so I know it wasn't under his cup. I don't know where it is, and I don't have the dog even to blame anymore. I used to always say, "Oh, Willie must have grabbed it," but I can't blame poor Willie. So I don't know where it is. It just rolled away, I guess. Both of them, they rolled away. Lori says, it seems like all the circles I've done are divisible by 2. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen an odd number for starting a circle. That'll have to be an experiment. I'll have to try it and see if anything bad happens. I would think it would just, eventually look like a pentagon if you did 5 and a triangle. Maybe if you did 3. I don't know. I'll have to give it a try and see. Could be. Could be. All right, let's check out if there's any more slides. I'm not sure if there's any more or not. Let's see. Oh, this is just, the website. So if you like what you see, check out the website. I am going to be slowly building up the clubhouse, the Chicklet Clubhouse on the website. So I'm going to have some freebies on there. There's already one freebie on there, the organizing page. So if you are looking for a crochet organizer to keep your projects straight, there's that freebie printable. And so I'm also going to do some flat circle, how many stitches you'll have at the end of this round and that sort of thing. So check out the website if you want, if you're interested in that. Otherwise, that's the end of the slideshow. Not too much else on the slides. Other than that one, Merry Christmas, everybody. All right, let's get that out of there. We're done with that. We're all done with that. So, what do you guys think? Is this sort of format working for you? I know it's a little tricky to see what I'm doing because the camera is not overhead. I have tried to do a camera from overhead, but I get a lot of feedback. So I'm going to have to work on the technical aspects of that. But I'd really like to keep going with this sort of format if it's working for everybody. I was even thinking that next week we might even try a little beanie, like try a beginner hat. For a lot of people who've never made a hat before, it might be kind of fun. And for those of you who already know what you're doing, it's just kind of fun to crochet together, I think. So let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in. I'd love to hear from you. You can also email me any suggestions too. I'm pretty sure my email is in the description below. Should be whippychick1@gmail.com. It's pretty easy to remember. But if this is something that you like and are enjoying, let me know, because I want to give you guys what you want, if that makes sense. I think it makes sense. Otherwise, I think that's going to about do it for tonight. I do try to keep it at about an hour. Debbie thinks that'll be fun. Okay, great. I've actually got a super, super simple hat pattern, and I'd love to share it with you. And if that goes well, maybe we'll work our way up to my new ear flap hat, because this is actually pretty easy. It might be a 2-night, maybe a 3-night project. Who knows? But once you have that basic circle down, you can do so much. And Yarn We Trust says, yes, sounds great. I love hanging out and having a club to go to on Tuesdays. Me too. I just like chatting and having people to crochet with. My husband and son are not interested in crocheting. I've tried. I've really tried. I really have. I actually told my husband that I think that what he really wants for Christmas is yarn. I told him I would take care of it for him. Okay, so Judy would love to do a hat as well. Awesome. Okay, great. So I think next week we're going to do a hat. It's the time of year for making a hat. Lori, yes, love the chance to ask questions live. Of course, I can't seem to get here on time. That's okay, Lori. That's okay. You can watch the replay, and it's not the same, though. I know what you mean. But you can watch the replay. Okay, everybody, I'm going to call it a night. And let me read that last chat. I enjoyed the live tonight, and I've never made a hat in the round before. Mel Santa hat was my first hat ever. It's such a cute hat. I used your pom-pom tutorial, and it did turn out super cute. I get compliments on it. Oh, I'm so glad. That's the best, isn't it? Isn't it so fun when people compliment you on something you made? I think it's cool. Lisa says the hat for me will have to wait until our winter. That's right, Lisa. It's still warm where you are. Oh, there's my sister Jen. Hey, good night, Jen. Okay, everybody. I'll see you next week. Have a great night, and thanks so much for coming. Bye-bye.